back, everybody, to the Meeple Marathon. Today we're going to be doing something a little special. I am dubbing this my Mid-Year Gaming Awards. I have taken 8 kind of standard categories across the board game genre, 8 categories that I've covered here on my channel, and I'm going to give you, thus far in 2020, what my favorite game in each category is. Now, these are not necessarily games that came out in 2020. Some of them, might be considered classics in your mind or quite old. Most of them, I believe, are readily available, so you could track them down and purchase them yourself. But these are in no particular order and simply just put out there for you guys to consider. So without further ado, let's get on with the list.
Worker Placement, Viticulture, Essential Edition. So I chose Viticulture as my worker placement game because it's simply a classic. It has a great theme, a theme that a lot of people who may not normally be into board games can get behind. When I tell someone, hey, it's a game about making wine, everybody's like, ooh, I'm interested. It's also a pretty straightforward worker placement game in the fact that it, when you describe that you basically just have to take the wine from growing the grapes through all the steps of normal winemaking to delivering a bottle of wine, they're like, oh, okay, and here are all your options. I do like the various strategies of being able to take different routes to success, and you don't always have to take the same path as everyone else. Specifically for me, I have really enjoyed the solo aspect of Viticulture. For one, the solo AI is incredibly easy to implement. It's just flip a card over, put the people out that block those spaces from you, and you move on with your turn. I also like that the solo games present sort of a challenge because you have this limited time frame that you have to get the job done, and if you go into the back of the rule book, there are exactly that. There are various challenges that can make you rethink your strategy in different ways. So it just kind of changes the game up just enough that makes you want to keep coming back for more and makes it feel a little bit different than each subsequent time. So again, Viticulture is my number one worker placement game so far this year. I know this is an older game and there are a lot others out that some people may say are a lot better. I've also really enjoyed Architects of the West Kingdom, but I've not played it nearly as much as I've played Viticulture this year, and so I just wasn't able to set it above this particular classic. Deck Builder, Harry Potter, Hogwarts Battle, Toy Story, Obstacles and Adventures. So Deck Builders is one of my favorite game mechanisms in general, and Harry Potter continues to be one of my favorite deck builders purely because of a theme. I love the Harry Potter universe and everything that comes with it, but the legacy aspect of unlocking those boxes that correspond with the movies as you move through, it increases the difficulty and the size of the game, really just is a great way to implement a deck builder. It's also very straightforward. The reason I added Toy Story in here as well, because Toy Story is essentially a re-implementation of the Harry Potter system, just with a different theme. So if you prefer Toy Story or you're playing more with kids, then go for this one. It's essentially the same game. Again, they take all the movies, they break them down into boxes, so characters that you aren't going to see in the first movie aren't going to be available in your first game. But it's very straightforward, it's very easy for people to pick up on, and with all of the deck builders in my collection, and all the ones that I play, even with the intense ones like Thunderstone Quest and of the such, I still really enjoy this style here from the op of Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. Campaign game, Aftermath, an adventure book game. So I'm sure some of you are probably thinking, where is Gloomhaven? Why is Gloomhaven not filling this spot? And for some of you, this may be an atrocity, but for me personally, I have really appreciated the uniqueness of Aftermath. The characters and the goals and the missions. It's not your epic fantasy prototype that Gloomhaven is. It's these unique characters that you don't see in any other game other than Mice and Mystics from the same company. But just the whole adventure book aspect where I just flip to certain pages and there's my map. I know that Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion implements this, and for the few times I've been able to play Jaws of the Lion, I really appreciate the book aspect. But again, I just haven't played Jaws of the Lion to justify putting it as my top game so far in 2020. Whereas Aftermath, I am really enjoying the story in general. I'm enjoying the fact that I can switch out my characters between quests. So essentially they are all upgrading together, and then there's specific quests that upgrade certain characters, but you don't even need to take those characters on those specific quests. So just the fact that I can rotate through all 4 main characters is really nice, because I never like having to choose between 1, 2, 3, or 4 heroes. Generally 4 is a little bit too much. I've been playing two-handed with this, which you have to do, but I've been able to play all 4 characters and rotate them through. Nobody's being left behind on experience points, things like that. The miniatures were amazing. They were fun to paint, and even if you didn't want to paint them, they came with this pre-wash on them, which made all their details stand out really nice. Setup is fairly fast. The whole poker card, playing your actions based on the colors of the numbers of the poker cards is unique. It's not super unique to Plaid Hat Games. They've implemented this in some of their other adventure book games like Stuffed Fables and Comanauts, but it is very much different than, say, a Gloomhaven or a traditional dice chucker like Descent or Imperial Assault. So just in general, I have really been enjoying this experience, and highly recommend it to anybody that's looking for a nice family-friendly campaign to play through. Real-time game, Pandemic, Rapid Response. I enjoy real-time games in general because they fit that niche of having a game that you can play in a fairly quick amount of time. I can play several games of Pandemic Rapid Response in the same amount of time, if not less, than it takes me to sit down and play like a campaign session of Aftermath. Pandemic Rapid Response got the award this time simply because it's just such a nice looking game. It's colorful, the dice are gorgeous and colorful, they feel really good in your hands. It's a very straightforward system. There is not any downtime. You're pretty much just bam, 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 and then you're done. It's a very straightforward process. You tell someone it's just like Yahtzee. You roll your dice, then you get to re-roll them, then you get to re-roll them again. Then you place them out and you fulfill whatever aspects you can. So the tension is there. It definitely can be tense, but it's not stressful. It's not a super stressful game. So I just highly recommend this one. It's not a very expensive price point. You can usually get it for around $20 to $25. And it's, like I said, it's family friendly. It's very straightforward and easy to teach. And it just looks good on the table. So for real-time games, Pandemic Rapid Response. Digital version, Street Masters, the iOS app. So Street Masters for me is a game that I have been wanting to try for a while now, but seeing as that Kickstarters are just now being delivered to backers, it's not easy to find in retail stores, and it's not a very cheap game. It's a big box game with lots of miniatures and cards, so you're looking at like $100 price point at retail. when I found out that they were implementing an app, actually at first when I heard about it, I thought it would just be a companion app to go along with the game. Then when I discovered, no, this is like a digital re-implementation of the game, I was very excited because this gave me a way to enter into the game or even try it out per se, which you don't often get to do. Normally, especially with board games, unless you know someone or you're willing to go on Tabletopia and experience, or Tabletop Simulator and experience that way, you generally have to just take a chance on a game. You do your reviews and you go out and take a chance on it. If it doesn't work, hopefully you took care of it and you can trade it away or sell it. This app, however, from what I understand, and again, I have never played the actual game, but without the miniatures, it is essentially the exact same thing. But it's very smooth that the AI takes care of all of the enemy activations and the point tracking and things like that. So it's a very streamlined version of the actual board game. All the bookkeeping is taken care of, and just moves very quickly. I can play a full game of Street Masters in about 15 minutes now. Now that I understand how the game plays and what strategies I need to implement. Also, all the card art is exactly the same as what's in the game. So it's a beautiful app to look at and play through, and I know that they have just implemented it and they're already looking into ways to improve it. So just in general, this has been a great experience of implementing a miniatures style kind of battle game that involves dice and cards and miniatures and everything else, and turning it into a digital format that just really works and is very smooth. And so for anyone who has been interested in Street Masters the board game, I highly recommend checking out the app first before you go and drop $100 on a big box game. Roll and Write, Cartographers, a role player tale.
When it comes to roll and writes, I really appreciate the ones that when it's all said and done, when the game is over, I have created something that's a little bit more artistic than, say, just checking off boxes with check marks and X's. And Cartographers really definitely helps me do that. Now, I'm not saying that my little pad of paper here is a work of art when I'm done, but it definitely gives you that aspect of having created something that's just a little prettier than, like I said, a bunch of checks and X's. It's very straightforward, and the reason it has made my top 10 or mid-season award list is that it has been very easy to implement via Zoom in a group call during the current climate. We've played it a lot with my friends and I, and they are now requesting it anytime we get on for like a group game night on Zoom or something like that. So it's a nice looking game, nice looking on the table, and they just came out with a digital version of it that you can download on iOS. So definitely go check that out because that's been great.
Tableau Builder, Wingspan, Everdell.
Okay, so I definitely cheated with my Tableau building action selection category because I honestly just could not decide between the two, between Wingspan and Everdell. Both of them have beautiful card art. They're pretty to look at. Just the gameplay in general is a unique experience. They're family friendly. The components are amazing. In Wingspan, you've got the wooden dice, which are just classic feeling. The included birdhouse dice tower, and the eggs are just really fun to put out on your table. And also the solo automa that is included with the game for Wingspan in particular is very nice and straightforward. You simply flip over a card, you do the few actions. Once you understand what the symbols mean, it moves very quickly. And it's not like it even necessarily gets in your way. Occasionally it steals a bird out from under you, but you have your own tableau in front of you. And the variety in the birds and the bird cards that are constantly coming out are
what make this game truly special, just being able to set up the combos as you complete your actions from right to left, and the various birds, and how at the beginning of the game you actually have more actions than at the end of the game, but you're actually able to do more at the end of the game because of this bird sanctuary tableau that you have created. So again, at least as far as Wingspan is concerned, it truly is worthy of this, all these awards it's been winning, because it is such a great game to play in general, and it's a very fun theme. It's a very easy theme to get across to family and friends, girlfriends, husbands, wives. You say, hey, let's play a bird game with this beautiful art, and they're like, sure, I'll give it a try. So just in general, this has been a big positive on my game shelf so far. And then moving on to the other game I put in this category is Everdell, which again it deals with animals. It's got beautiful card art. The AI is even simpler to implement in this one. You simply roll a dice and you choose a card that it steals. That's it. And it's blocking a few of the resource action spaces. And so this one's even simpler. The board is this unique kind of forest with the tree and everything. You just kind of have to see it in person to see the awesome presence this one has. Also, the expansions that have come out for it just really add to the depth and the strategy of the game and the table presence. The resources in Everdell are just as good as in Wingspan. They're unique, and the berries, the squishy berries, or the really smooth river rocks. I mean, it's all just really fun to hold in your hand. And again, the combos that you can build up between your cards as your tableau or your city gets bigger is just really fun to play off of. And I've really enjoyed stepping up my game against the varying levels of Rugwort and how difficult he is, and really just kind of perfecting my play of Everdell playing solo. Both of these Tableau Builders play excellent solo, and I think that's why they have made it onto my list and why they were so difficult to choose from. So in this instance, I did cheat. I couldn't pick one. I picked two, but there you have it. Card game, Marvel Champions. So I know I said at the beginning of the video that these were not ranked in any particular order, and for the most part they are not. But Marvel Champions does kind of earn the top spot on my list. It is not only my top card game, living card game, whatever you want to call it, but it so far this year has been my favorite game in general to play. I have gotten into some of Fantasy Flight's LCGs in the past, but never to the point where I was wanting to get my hands on the newest hero pack or villain pack, whatever it may be, as soon as they came out. But that's the way it's been with Marvel Champions, because each hero pack and villain pack has brought something unique to the gameplay. Each hero pack is unique in how it plays, and it's been so exciting to just see what new and interesting thing they've added to the game. I also absolutely love the fact that I can order a pack, simply unwrap it, and it is ready to play. Simply shuffle it up and go. I am not a huge fan of deck construction, which technically is what this game is about, and perfecting your deck, but I'm just here to enjoy the experience. I'm not trying to set any records on who I can beat on expert mode. So the fact that I can just pull these guys out, play them as is, and then put them in the box and pull them out again later without having to take all that extra time is just a beautiful aspect. I love how every card in your hand can be either played or is spent for resources to be able to play those cards. And so your hand management is a really big part of the game. And what do you decide to discard? You can't keep everything because you got to pay for certain stuff. And what are you willing to pass on and hope that it comes back through? And I've really enjoyed Iron Man so far and building him up and all his suits of armor. I've really enjoyed Doctor Strange with his Invocation deck. And who else? I really love who is playing here in this video, the Scarlett Johansson character, with her kind of cards that sit out there, and you just kind of put them out, and then you use them a lot to help defend against the enemy. I'm blanking now, and I'm hating that I'm blanking, but I've just really enjoyed this game so far, and it just seems like it's going to continue to get better. They're about ready to release their kind of campaign, their first big box expansion for it, which is going to introduce a campaign style way to play, which I'm very excited about. So again, I can't speak highly enough about this game. Also, the theme is superheroes. It's Marvel superheroes, which I've always been fond of. So, it basically just checks off all the boxes for me. It's quick to set up, decently quick to play. There's a lot of variety in it. All these expansions are easy to implement and offer something new, and it's a great theme. So, can't say enough about this game. Highly recommend it. If there's any game on this list, I would say go out and find right now. It's Marvel Champions. Go pick up your favorite characters as expansions, and keep the lookout for more videos on Marvel Champions, because I'm going to continue to put them out there because I really love playing this game. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this or more of the content that you've seen, please consider subscribing to my channel. I try and release several videos a week. Once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to watch the entire video and getting to this part where I can say thank you, because that means a lot to me. So I'm going to say it again. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.